Today we're going to be taking a look at Sleep Token, even in Arcadia. Now, I have literally punished myself, and I have not heard a single track of it. Yes, I have heard a little bit, small bits during shorts, during videos, whatever. My buddy Matt sent me Caramel before it even released. I think it was a day early. I listened to a little bit of it with my wife and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Shut it off real quick. And I hope for the best. We are here today to check out the whole thing. And yes, I will be checking out the lyrics. Something new I'm doing with album reactions. Very, very excited to get back into that for the album reactions. But yeah, let's jump into this. Now, I have never done a thorough discography for Sleep Token. So I have done a bio, but I never did discography. Normally I do a discography for a never heard before artist. Obviously, this artist has been heard before on my channel a lot. A lot of people have discovered this artist on my channel as well. Sleep Token discography is as follows. 1. 2. Sundowning. This place will become your tomb. Take me back to Eden, and even in Arcadia. Without further ado, the first track is called Look to Windward. Nice synthwave here. I like this.
Will you listen just as my form starts to fission, losing this war of attrition, just as I drift away? Will you hold this eclipse in me? Eclipse in me? Will you hold this eclipse in me? Will you hold this eclipse in me? With the shadows longer to me than a light.
I'm loving that synth.
So slow I could die. Say you can let me say, will you hold this eclipse in me? Will you hold this eclipse in me? Will you hold this eclipse in me? Will you hold this eclipse in me?
Whoa. Get some Vessel head voice here. George Lever mixed this album, correct? He's a hell of a producer. I believe he did Behind the Devil's Back by Fight Star. I believe he also mixed Sundowning as well. I haven't had something hit me that hard since The Offering. Wow.
I've got eyelids heavy enough to break diamonds. You brave for sound, I'm not brave for silence. Damn right, faithless, I can't deny. You'll find me with half a mind to get violent. It's over till I say it's over. No more little angel sitting on my shoulder. So give me the edge of a blade and a time and a place, and I'll leave them cold and pushing up borders. Walking with God, so many stumbling
Fuck.
until there's fire at the gates.
I love this trap.
To the floor, you know I live by the feather and die by the sword, and all under the earth.
What up, Matt? How you doing, man? It's really fucking good so far. Ooh, some gospel, bringing back to the second EP. What? Wow. I love how he brought the whispers back from Ascensionism. And they threw back the gospel sound from the second EP. Very cool. More fucking metal! What the fuck just happened, dude? Holy shit. Dude, this screen's got so much better. Holy fuck. Let's look into these lyrics and then we'll move on to the next song. But holy shit, man. Will you listen just as my form starts to fission? Losing this war of attrition just as I drift away. So, fission is the process in which a neutron is accelerated and collides with the nucleus of another atom, fragmenting it and giving rise to new elements. This might reference either vessel and sleep being destroyed in a process that creates something new, which aligns with the recurring chemical imagery across the last few albums, or the fragmentation of vessel and the man behind the mask, as the latter begins to disappear behind the character. This theme will be revisited in Carmel. Why you gotta give me that fucking spoiler? In this context, Vessel explicitly acknowledges losing the battle for his own identity. As either the character or the person behind the mask begins to fade. In Carmel, while also citing war of attrition, he also adds too old to retaliate like before, possibly suggesting that here in Look to Windward, he is still resisting. The phrase war of attrition refers to a conflict that ends only when one side is no longer able to continue, often due to the depletion of resources, morale, and strength. Nuclear fission is the opposite process to nuclear fusion. Yes, I already knew this. Reference in Bloodsport. Yes. Somewhere the atoms stop fusing. Somewhere the atoms stop fusing. Okay. All right. This could refer to a relationship or some aspect of a person built in sundowning that slowly falls apart through the next 3 albums. Will you halt this eclipse in me? At its core, this is a metaphorical language about darkness overtaking light within something or someone. If someone has an eclipse in them, it suggests a personal inner darkness, depression, grief, rage, anxiety, loss of hope that's overwhelming them. Whatever light or goodness remains inside. It's a desperate, intimate question, implying that Vessel is on the edge, consumed by whatever happening eternally, and he's reaching out to someone, possibly sleep, to stop it before it's too late. I've got eyelids heavy enough to break diamonds. You pray for sound, and I pray for silence. This lyric bases itself on the general conception of diamonds as nigh, indestructible, signifying that the extraordinary mechanical forces generated by Vessel's exhaustion are strong enough to surpass this benchmark, which leads me to believe that a lot of the demons are not demons. It's like, is it demons? It's like demons within his head from Take Me Back to Eden. Each song resembled a demon or a god, if you will. Sorry. The symbolism of diamonds, objects of power, and beauty in previous tracks is altered by this destruction. Their prestige is also almost completely diminished by his current weariness. They are referenced in the offering and ascensionism, respectively. You've got diamonds from my teeth, my love. That's in the offering. I can offer you a black-lit paradise, diamonds in the tree, pentagrams in the night sky. That's from ascensionism. Extreme fatigue, suggested by this lyric, is returned to infinite bats. All right, I'm not going to read these spoilers. I'm sorry. I'm not going to read these spoilers. Yeah. No more little angels sitting on my shoulders. Properly, an angel on your shoulder gives you good advice and cautions you against giving into negative emotions. Vessel is essentially saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy. He's going to ignore his conscience and give in to an urge to cause harm or to put down the feather quill pen and take up the sword, as he says in the next verse. The feather quill pen is, if you're a fan like me and my mother, there was a promotional thing going around with the Feathers host, and then it had the House of Viridian. I chose the House of Viridian, of course, because I like the swords. But yeah, that's what the reference is to. So give me the edge of the blade and a time and a place, and I'll leave them cold and pushing up boulders. Now, I believe currently we are sitting at the House of Viridian, and then once after the 5th track is over, we will move on to The Cycle Must End, or The Feathered Host, excuse me. So give me the edge of the blade and a time and a place, and I'll leave them cold and pushing up boulders. In contrast to the usual phrasing of pushing up daisies, referring to the corpse in a buried casket, Vessel replaces daisies with boulders. This is referring to the Greek myth of Sisyphus, whose eternal punishment is trying to push a boulder up a hill that always falls back down. That's correct. My walking with gods are merely stumbling forth until there's fire at the gates, until I fall to the floor. A movement of self-doubt, or perhaps imposter syndrome. Vessel is wondering if he really deserves his success and fame, and in context of the lore, perhaps power, or if he is here by coincidence and will soon collapse, fall to the floor under the pressure of his new position. You know I live by the feather and die by the sword. Another reference to House Viridian and what is that? The Feathered Host. Excuse me. One sec. Where am I moving here? No, I live by the feather and die by the sword. Okay. Reference Feathered Host and House Viridian. The latter's emblem features cross swords, hence die by the sword. And then, yeah, lays a feather or whatever. Even in his Garden of Gardens should be Garden of Eden or Arcadia. Like gods of gods or kings of kings, The Garden of Gardens would be one superior to all others. There are two contenders giving this line a double meaning. Gethsemane has been called the Garden of Gardens, or, for instance, in the hymn, O Garden, O God, where the Savior of souls about the agony in the garden which takes place there. However, such a superlative could also refer to the paradisical Arcadia, which would make this line literally read, even in Arcadia. Gods of the gaps. The gods of the gaps is the existence that gaps in scientific understanding and questions science can't yet answer are proof that God exists. In this case, Vessel is subverting it for an ironic play on words. He's saying he's the god of the gaps in the same way that Thor is god of thunder. The gaps in question are his origin and identity, as detailed the following lines. Nobody knows where I came from, even if I have forgotten. How could I already lose my way? Perhaps Vessel is saying he's a god, famous musician only because of these gaps. Yes. So this band literally writes music around their lives, which is insane. Gaps can also describe the empty space in a vessel, hence the name Vessel. He is a vessel. He is a vessel is basically just a construct or a person that a demon or an angel can possess. Gaps also describe the empty space in a vessel or emotional, physical distance between people or entities that is explored further in the album and in Sleep Token's other works. Yeah. So like I said, a person is literally a husk or a vessel until it is filled with a soul, a good or bad soul. And it gives that person or that construct, that vessel, that husk, life. I am the demon of Sodom. I am the blood of an angel. So the demon of Sodom refers to Sodom and Gomorrah. Alongside Gomorrah, they were destroyed by God for their wickedness in the Old Testament. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is a cautionary tale about divine judgment and the consequences of sin, particularly the breach of hospitality and violence. Claiming to be the demon of Sodom would mean embodying depravity, sin, or moral decay. Someone proud of being an agent of destruction, temptation, and rebellion against divine authority. So a lot of people say that Hollywood and just music in general, like becoming popular is a sin. And you have to sin to become popular. The blood of an angel implies purity, divinity, or something sacred. It could mean that Vessel either carries the remnants of purity within him, like a fallen angel, or he has killed purity itself, possessing the blood of an angel as a trophy. If you follow the popular Christian narrative of demons as fallen angels, the demon-angel pairing also anticipates the next line, the fate of the fallen. Even at stratospheric depths, this vertigo is bliss. The stratosphere is high up in the Earth's atmosphere, above the clouds of almost space level. Pairing stratospheric with depths creates this oxymoronic image of being both impossibly high and impossibly deep at once. In poetic terms, it suggests a state of being so far. I'm sorry, this is way too much lore. I am not going to read all this lore. This is crazy. Let's move on to the next one.